Hey, welcome back to my channel. We are calling this video What the Flow? And the reason is that we are literally going to go over the flow. Yes, we are traveling back in time. Now, if you're wondering why we are going back to the basics, it's exactly what I've been telling you. If you don't know the basics, you cannot get to the advanced. And if you cannot get to the advanced, then you're not going to get the best results. And it's my job to help you get the best results. So this is all really, really simple. We're going to break this down and we're going to make it really, 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 really easy. So let me just make this a little bit bigger and let's go here first. Okay, so there's only four parts to this, and there's just a description, and then we're going to look at 5 different dispute reasons, how they correlate, and this goes with my previous video on the flow. Okay, so let's just look at this first. So, the most important part of the dispute process is understanding how one account element correlates to another. So, if we fail to see how the date last active influences the natural reporting of the account and how each of the following elements influence the former, our ability to achieve deletions on the negative account decreases as we go along with our rounds. And that's exactly what I just said. So, these are influencing account elements: date last active, date last paid, payment history, and first date of delinquency. All right, so let's first look at this part. And if you don't know me, my name is Kristen, and I fix credit for a living. It's what I do. Okay, so now I have over 400 videos going all the way back to July of 2015. So, 2016, July 2016. So, if you need to find something to do this yourself, it's in my videos. Okay. So 400 videos for free. Besides that, there's a ton of apps and downloads and software and a bunch of stuff that you can access to figure this out for yourself. Okay. Including obviously this video. Now, if this is something that you don't want to do, but you want someone to do it for you and you want it to be done correctly, then you can use the link in the description of any one of my videos and I will see if I can do the credit sweep for you. Okay. Now, if you're wondering what the heck a credit sweep is, just real quick, a credit sweep is the fastest, best tactical, strategic method legally, permanently, for obtaining negative item deletion or correction. Okay. It is not credit repair. Credit repair is like 12 freaking months to 5 years. It's not targeted. It's not strategic. Most of these places don't even give you the copies of the disputes. It's a one size fits all, whoever can stick their foot in it type of process. Okay. So you don't want to do that. All right. So this is where I dispute every negative item that you have all at once, not only 5, not only 9, every single negative item that you have all at once. All 3 bureaus all at once, and you actually get the copies of the disputes, and it's based on factual based disputes. All right, so link is in the description. Now, going back to this, we have elements, we have a cannon, and we have our squirt gun disputes. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, please take a look at your screen because this is going to make sense. All right, so this is a very simple little Kanban board, and we have our elements: date last active, date last paid, notice of dispute, payment history, first date of delinquency, and violations. Now, the ones that are your cannons are going to be, we have date last active, and I'm just going to drag this over here, date last paid, and notice of dispute. Now, I am not saying that payment history, first date of delinquency, and violations are squirt guns. What I am saying is that your cannons, your best possible reasons are going to be date less active, date less paid, and notice of dispute. Now, what is a squirt gun? I'm sure you know that disputing the limit is a squirt gun. I'm sure you know that disputing the open date is a squirt gun. I'm sure you know that disputing, let's just say, terms, that is a squirt gun. So my question to you is, do you want to go into battle with a cannon, or do you want to go after those zombies with a squirt gun? If your answer is a squirt gun, then, honey, I don't know what to tell you. But if your answer is a cannon, then these are the dispute reasons that you should be using: date last active, date last paid, and notice of dispute. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at these, and they're the same exact things that I told you. We have to understand how one correlates with the other. And this is why this video is called What the Flow, okay? Now, there's another F word, but we're not talking about that F word. We're talking about what the flow, all right? So, date last active, why is this important? Well, the date last active indicates when the account will naturally fall off your credit report, right? It is the date when the 7-year time period begins, and it's the biggest form of retaliation of the bureaus to change this date to keep the account on your credit report longer. Honey, they are not there to hold your hand. They are not there to be your friend. They're not there to help you. They are there to make money. They're there to make money, and if you're costing them money, then this is what they do, all right? This is called re-aging, and it adds another 7 years to the reporting, and it is a violation to re-age the account. Now, with the date last paid, well, the date last paid indicates the date the account was last paid by the consumer, right? Obviously. And in the event the account becomes charged off, because as you can see right here in the center, it says charged off, then the date last paid should become the date last active, or, should be around this date. Now, when the date last paid is wrong, when it's wrong, you can have the date last active wrong, right? Because if one is wrong, then the other one can be wrong. Now, you don't want to start with that whole flow being incorrect when you have this is wrong and then that one's wrong and then they change this and they're reporting that. And so you have all these different things that are incorrect. No. Now, if we just jump over notice of dispute for a second and go to payment history, the payment history is where it all starts, right? This is exactly what I was just saying. And this might make sense instead of what I was just talking about. So if the late payments are reported inaccurately, then the date last paid will report inaccurately, and the date last active will report inaccurately. And if the date last active is reported inaccurately, the account will not be removed within the correct time frame. It all begins here, right? So it's like the domino effect. I mean, I guess I could have called this a domino effect instead of what the flow, but I actually already have a video called the domino effect, and it's actually a series. So now with the first date of delinquency, we're continuing with the late payment flow, right? So the first date of delinquency can throw off the entire reporting. As an example, it would be where the three bureaus report a different date, and this would mean that the account would naturally, without interference from a dispute, be removed according to the statute of limitations, right? So you can actually see a difference of even like 6 years. I see it all the time. So if the bureaus don't have the same information and it is not the correct information, then the first date of delinquency, if you do not pay, again after that, right? First delinquency being your last date of activity, then this means that it can either be months off, days off, or years off. So this date is very, very, very important, right? So we have first date of delinquency. That is what says it says the entire thing about your payment history, and the payment history leads to, date last active, and then date last paid, and I mean, even activity after the close date and all of that. So that's what I'm saying, that one thing leads to another. Now, we're going to throw something else in here that's very, very important, and it's called the notice of dispute. So now, does this have to do with late payments? No, it does not. But it does have to do with these elements right here: influencing account elements: date last paid, date last active, payment history, first date of delinquency, and notice of dispute. Now, when you submit a dispute, it's required that a notice is entered to your credit report within 30 days of the receipt that says disputed by consumer, right? So if it's not entered, then it is a violation of Section 623. In this way, other creditors will know that the account may have an inaccuracy. So that's one of the reasons that you want that notice of dispute to be on there, because if you just have a negative item sitting on your credit report and you go to apply for something and you can't tell them that, like, hey, I disputed this. Okay, well, why isn't that notice of dispute on there? We just think that you're okay with having a negative item on your credit report. And then it's going to be kind of difficult for you to explain, like, hey, you know what, that was identity theft. Oh, that was like 6 years ago, and yeah, I owe $1,000, but it should show that, it was paid, blah, blah, blah. But if you don't have a notice of dispute on there, then they're just going to think that you're okay not paying your creditors. And then they're not going to offer you any credit. Okay. So as you can see, this can be very, very important when you're dealing with other creditors. You can lose your positive accounts because your negative accounts are not marked as in dispute. And this is also a great way to catch the Bureau's creditors and collectors with a violation. And once again, it is FCRA 623. And if it is the collectors, then it's 807 FDCPA. Okay. So there's a lot of things that you can go after with this. Let me just go out a little bit, and we're going to go down over here. But now this is the flow. You're going to go date last active, date last paid, notice of dispute, payment history, and first date of delinquency. So when you're disputing, these are your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds outside of blatant inaccuracies. Now, people ask me all the time, well, what the heck are you talking about blatant inaccuracies? And are blatant inaccuracies more important than, the hierarchy? Yes, they are. So an example of this would be if you have Capital One reporting a charge off on all three bureaus, and one bureau says $1,000 balance, another bureau says $1,500 balance, and another bureau, the third, says paid. Obviously, that is a glaring error, and it can get your account removed immediately. So why would you go after the DOLA or the DOLP, DOP and the NOD and the first DOD if you have 3 different balances? So yes, blatant inaccuracies, then you start going down the ladder. And that is why going from left to right, 1 to 5, they're going down, because it's taking a step away from your deletions. So that is what you need to understand. Every single letter that you send is one step further away from the result that you want to get. So it's imperative that you send out something that's a bang. It's a cannon. It is not a squirt gun. It's going to take those damn zombies out immediately. You're not going to have to go and, do this and that and build a new fort and travel the United States with your kid in the movie Cargo or whatever. You need to just wipe them all out with one big kaboom. And that is why we go from one step to another, going down the hierarchy. You're going down the ladder. You're using the domino effect. You're using the, pyramid method. You're using the ELM, the evolution line method. It's just one step to another. But if you don't understand how to do this, if you don't understand how one correlates to another, if you don't understand your disputes and your elements, then what the flow, right? What the flow? So what I want you to do is just listen to me really quickly for the next 30 seconds, and then you can be on your way to work or to school or to home, to wherever, and that'll be the end of this video. So like I said, for the next 30 seconds, just pay attention. We're starting on round 1 with blatant inaccuracies. If we don't have blatant inaccuracies, we go to date last paid. Date last active. All right. So round 1 is date last active. Check to see if you have different dates. The further apart they are, the greater it is, chance that you're going to get a deletion. Stop reporting this account because there's 3 different dates in the date last active. Experian says date, Equifax says date, and TransUnion says date. If that doesn't fix your issue, then we're not going to note a dispute yet. Like I said in my previous video, you want to use that on round 3. Okay, so now we take a step down and date last paid. Delete this account for inaccuracy because you're reporting however many dates last paid that are, different. These are the amount of years in between them, or this is the date for Experian, this is the date for Equifax, this is the date for TransUnion. Obviously, these are not the same dates. Remove this account or just delete this account because the date last paid is inaccurate. Date. That's it. This is really simple. It's just using common sense and logic and the information provided to you from your credit report directly, because it is irrefutable facts. Okay. Now, round 3 comes and you're like, hey, they didn't enter that required notice to dispute within 30 days from the date that they received my letter. Even though I didn't send it out certified, I counted 4 days, then I counted 30 days, then I pulled a new credit report and it's not there. What do? Well, you hit them with a notice of dispute. This Capital One account number 517-80583 is reported in violation of Section 623 because you did not enter the required notice of dispute. Delete this account. Boom. Round 4. If the account is still there, now you need to go with the flow and you need to check your payment history. Is there activity after the close date? Are all 3 bureaus reporting the payment history the same? Is that first date of delinquency? Did you check that? What about the most recent, late payment? Is it, reported charge off? Or is it whatever it is? You need to look at the payment history as a whole and say, how can I maximize this to remove this account? And then if that doesn't work, first date of delinquency. Now, we use first date of delinquency for a couple of reasons. As I mentioned right here, first date of delinquency, very simply because it's the oldest late payment. It's also the most difficult one to verify, even though they're not going to verify, because I will let you know that the only legal way to verify a late payment is for them to actually provide a copy of their bank statement proving when your account was accepted into the bank. And they are not going to do that. That would be like you taking your bank statements and walking over to a homeless shelter or to the homeless people that are living under the bridge, behind Walmart, and saying, here, have my confidential information. Why would you hand it over to them? You don't know who they are. They don't know you. Okay. So how is this any different? Why would they send you a copy of their bank statement? They're not going to. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. Using logic, using common sense. You just have to put the stuff that you already know together, use information provided to you, and that's it. You will get your results. Now, if this doesn't work, go back, check the information to see if the notice of dispute, the first date of delinquency changed, if the payment history changed, if your date less active changed, if your date less paid changed, and if any of those changed, you can use the evolution line method and go back, use that same element with a different dispute reason because the information has been changed, and now you're still keeping it in the top of the pyramid method. All right, so what the flow, we are done. And once again, if you need my help, use the link in the description. But otherwise, guys, I will talk to you later. I hope you enjoyed this. I might be able to put a link in the description so that you can check this out your own time. If I cannot, because I don't know about external users, but if I cannot, then just rewatch this video. All right, so have a great one. Have a prosperous week and do what you need to do to get your results. That's what it comes down to. All right, it's been 18 minutes and 19 seconds, and this is a longer video than I intended it to be. So have a great one. Have a great week, and I will see you guys later.